Morning! This is actually the West Fork of the Little Colorado River, which will eventually join up with the Big Colorado, flow through the Grand Canyon, and down into the Pacific. And I'm going to break here today to talk some anime.
Samurai 7.
Samurai 7 is a 2004 anime that reimagines Akira Kurosawa's classic movie, The Seven Samurai, not as a story of 16th century Japan, but in a strange future or alternate world of flying mecha. Still, you may recognize some of the plot elements and characters. In this world, a great war was fought with huge flying fortresses, mecha, and samurai. Many of the samurai acquired mechanical adaptations to their bodies, becoming cyborgs. Others remained human, wielding seemingly magical swords that could slice through metal and deflect energy beams. But now that the war is over, the samurai have fallen on hard times. It's the era of the merchants. Many of the new ronin have resorted to banditry, preying on the peasants. These aren't just ragtag bandits, though. They have flying machines of incredible size left over from the war. One poor farming village, robbed of their crops every year by bandits, decides to hire some samurai to protect them. Villager Rikichi heads off to the big city, carrying a small bit of the villager's only treasure, rice. The village's water priestess, Karara, goes along, trusting and dowsing with her sacred water stone to find the samurai, who will risk his life not for money, territory, or glory, but for a daily bowl of rice. Unaccountably, they bring along Karara's little sister, Komachi. The country trio is clearly at a loss, searching through the big city. Most of the samurai they approach see the village, and the wages offered is beneath them. When a thief steals the villager's right, they meet their first helpful samurai, the eager but inexperienced young man, Katsutsuro. The scene reveals the gulf between the samurai and the peasants, and the desperate poverty that drives these poor rice farmers.
お侍様、ありがとう存じますだ。
お米が。
Soon they meet Kanbei, a veteran samurai from the war and a superb swordsman. He's a rare remaining samurai of old-fashioned honor and agrees to help the villagers turn back the bandits. He hopes to recruit 6 other samurai to their cause. Even though young Katsutsuro is eager to help and infatuated with Karara, Kanbei sees the youngster as too green to be of a true samurai help. Likewise, an enthusiastic mechanical samurai, Kikuchiyo, is eager to prove his samurai mettle, but Kanbei dismisses him as a clown and pretender. Eventually, they recruit 2 veteran samurai. Kanbei's search for more samurai is cut short when the city's merchant prince, Ukyo, takes a lustful interest in the pretty Karara. With the city's guard and elite samurai such as Kyuzo out looking for them, they set out with only 3 chosen samurai, and the 2 rejects insist on following along as well. Along the way to the village, they'll pick up some more samurai help. When the samurai reach the village, they have to overcome the suspicion of the farmers, and then get the farmers to overcome their fear of the samurai and fight back. If God did not want them to be sheared, he would not have made them sheep. The samurai and the villagers prepare for the inevitable battle with the bandits. Samurai 7 is produced by Gonzo. Their animation is bipolar, mixing hand-drawn characters with a lot of computer-animated mecha. As with many such efforts by Gonzo, it's as if there are 2 different art designs sitting uncomfortably side by side. The character animation is also uneven. The sword-wielding combat scenes are fluidly animated and well done, but in the non-action scenes it looks stiffly economical. Director Toshifumi Takuzawa, who worked on the old Dirty Pair series as well as the newer computer-animated Blue Remains, has given a lot of scenes a mysterious look by adding fog, smoke, or dust. Just as long as the sword fights look crisp and good. Samurai 7 is overtly based on the 1954 classic movie The Seven Samurai from Akira Kurosawa. That's a great film, by the way, and if you haven't seen it, you really should. Despite the fantastical change in setting, the anime borrows not just the basic plot and characters, but many of the scenes and dialogue directly from the Seven Samurai. The anime keeps the same name for the samurai, and for those villagers who have matching counterparts. The character of Karara has been added, presumably because anime fans demand a cute girl, but I have to admit the character's been used to interesting effect, especially in her surprisingly understated relationship with the young Katsutsuro and Kanbei. Little Komachi is also added, of course, presumably because anime fans need someone their own age to identify with. Probably because Karara was added, the anime drops the other romantic subplot from the movie. This is certainly not the first time the Seven Samurai have been adapted into another film in another setting. It was the direct template for the Hollywood Western The Magnificent Seven back in 1960. That's also a terrific film, by the way, and you ought to see it too. Even though Kurosawa's original movie was a whopping 3.5 hours long, I was curious how they'd extend it to 26 anime episodes, about 11 hours of video. The original divided into 3 parts of roughly equal length, recruiting the samurai, preparing the village to fight, and the battles themselves. This anime adds 2 new sections to the story. There's a longer journey from the city to the village, obstructed by pursuit from the city. That segment allows the anime to have some fight scenes in the early going. The basic plot of the movie, minus the final battle, is completed by episode 16. The remaining 10 episodes add some new promises of rescues that result in some action in the capital before returning for the final conflict at the village. Samurai 7 sticks to many of the original movie's themes. It admires the heroic sense of duty of the samurai, even in the face of certain death, while breaking the strict caste system that separates the farmers from the samurai. As with the original, the clownish Kikuchiyo will reveal to have been born a farmer and raised himself up to be a samurai. And as the farmers learn to fight and lose their fear of the bandits and the samurai, they too are breaching the social order. For the greater part of the anime, where the 2 parts of the story agree, the anime follows the movie in easily recognizable scenes and dialogue.
この飯、おろそかには食わんぞ。
この飯おろそかには食わんぞ。
Notice they said the same thing in Japanese, even though the subtitles were different. Funimation's subtitles tend to be very literal, even if the English doesn't sound natural. The anime also uses the same test for new samurai.
入り口に身を隠して上段に構えろ。
ご冗談を。
Hide yourself near the entrance and hold that over your head.
You gotta be kidding me.
Come in. No tricks now, Chris.
The same wood chopping scene.
ところでは主、野串を30人ほど切ってみる気はないかな。
時にお主、野伏せりを40機ほど切ってみる気はないか。
And the same banner.
どういうわけだこら。
The anime reversioning is certainly less serious than Kurosawa's film, though not because it soft-sells the deaths of any other characters. Tiny Komachi is an explicit child presence that keeps the tone lighter. While Kikuchiyo is a clown in both versions, he's a lot dumber and clumsier in the cartoon version. Besides, there's something inherently absurd in a samurai jumping 25 feet up into the air to cut a 50-foot robot in half with nothing but a katana. The original part of the anime story, and where it strays from the original plot in later episodes, doesn't fit in badly with the story or characters. But as a main villain, I found Ukiyo to be unsatisfying. He's alternately a shrewd manipulator playing the fool and a true fool. I noticed that episode 7 of Samurai 7 was a bit of a departure. Hiroyuki Okino takes over as director for that episode, and also does the storyboards and acts as animation director for just that one episode only. While the story continues, that look is noticeably different, with broader colors and a slightly more cartoonish look. There's probably a story behind this 7 of 7 diversion. I just don't know what it is. The music is by the dependable Koro Wada, who's composed for such anime as Battle Angel and Ninja Scroll. Despite the futuristic mecha, he's kept a more traditional Japanese scale to the music. He's also used a very percussive sound, similar to Fumiko Hayashi's voice for the Seven Samurai. The beat both quickens in the action scenes to generate excitement and slows to underscore the everyday scenes with a sense of rhythm and repetitiveness. Overall, I give Samurai 7 4 stars. I confess I prefer watching Kurosawa's original, The Seven Samurai, or even better its Hollywood adaptation as The Magnificent Seven. I like westerns, but this reimagining isn't bad. It still manages to capture the unique personality of the samurai and even a few of the key villagers, and it keeps the original sense of duty and courage.
Thanks for listening.